The movie begins with a drunk old man named Pfluger who is digging into a legendary burial site at night. Suddenly, a blinding light strikes the grave and hurls him backward. The scene then shifts to a teenage boy named Kelly who is inside a supermarket. There, he runs into his childhood friend Dominique, who he also has a crush on. Kelly talks with her for a bit before leaving. Once outside, we see Kelly eating plastic. That's when he is stopped by the bullies who always torment him, Nelson, Reed, and Brad. Dominique notices them picking on Kelly, so she steps in to defend him, warning them to leave him alone. But the bullies take it further. They grab Kelly and throw him into a dumpster. The supermarket owner comes out, which forces the bullies to leave. Afterward, Kelly changes clothes and heads to school, but there, his classmates also treat him terribly. It turns out the bullies recorded a video of throwing him in the dumpster, then uploaded it online to humiliate him in front of the entire school. Later, Kelly goes home, where he helps his mother Bernice carry some groceries inside. Meanwhile, Dominique goes home and tells her mom that she likes Kelly, but her mother disapproves, saying, "Of all the boys, you like the weird one who eats plastic and pencil erasers?" Dominique gets upset at her for insulting Kelly. Then, we see a scene with a Native American man named Red Elk, who is actually the guardian of the burial ground that Pfluger opened. Red Elk realizes someone has disturbed the sacred grave. Back with Kelly, he is shown sick and weak from his poor nutrition, since he eats only plastic and pencil erasers. The doctor advises his mother, Bernice, to take him to a psychiatrist, explaining that Kelly's condition and lack of appetite are psychological. Meanwhile, Pfluger shows up in town, claiming he has the power to heal people. He proves it by curing an old woman who had been walking with a cane, suffering from painful joints. To everyone's shock, she suddenly walks normally again, completely free of pain. Bernice sees Pfluger's so-called miracle and is amazed. She approaches him, asking if he could come to her house to heal her son. After Bernice leaves, Red Elk shows up to confront Pfluger. Red Elk knows that Pfluger gained this strange power when he opened the sacred burial site. He tells him to return the power, but Pfluger refuses. He needs it. Red Elk then strikes him with his staff, but to his shock, Red Elk is the one who feels the pain. It's revealed that the power Pfluger stole protects him from any harm. If anyone tries to hurt Pfluger, they themselves will suffer instead. Red Elk warns him, if you use this power for the wrong reasons, it will destroy you, but Pfluger ignores the warning and heads straight to Kelly's house. When Pfluger touches Kelly's body, he suddenly feels a surge of energy coming from him. Startled, he steps back and excuses himself, going to the bathroom. There, he drinks liquor, snorts cocaine, and tries again to heal Kelly. But as soon as he places his hand on Kelly, a shock rips through Pfluger's body. His cigarette slips, falling onto Kelly's chest, and Pfluger collapses to the ground, dead. At that exact moment, Kelly begins to recover. He suddenly feels stronger, healthier, and hungry. Bernice quickly calls the police and ambulance. Pfluger's body is taken away, and Sheriff Adler gives Bernice his number in case anything strange happens again. The next day, Kelly accidentally cuts himself while fixing his bike, but to his amazement, the wound vanishes instantly. He realizes that Pfluger's healing power has transferred to him. Later, when his mom sees him drinking juice and eating normal food, she's thrilled that he's finally behaving like a regular boy. Dominique also notices that Kelly seems different, more confident. At school, one of the bullies, Reed, attacks Kelly, but this time, something incredible happens. No matter how many times Reed hits him, Kelly doesn't feel a thing. Instead, Reed is the one who gets hurt. For the first time, Kelly feels victorious. He even lands a part-time job at a local diner. But later that night, Reed shows up at Kelly's house with his older brother Nelson and their father, Mr. Whitescomb. The furious father complains to Bernice that Kelly attacked his son. He finds it unbelievable that weak, strange Kelly could have possibly hurt Reed so badly, since usually Reed was the one beating Kelly up. Annoyed by his accusations, Bernice slams the door in his face. That night, Bernice questions Kelly about what happened. Kelly finally confesses to his mom about his new ability. He explains, "When someone hits me, I don't feel the pain. The person who hits me feels it instead." At first, Bernice doesn't believe him, so she pinches him, but to her shock, she is the one who feels the pain. Stunned, she realizes Kelly is telling the truth. Amazed yet frightened, she watches as Kelly even sets his own hand on fire, showing that nothing harms him. Deeply worried, Bernice agrees with Kelly to keep his powers a secret from everyone. At school, the bullies keep trying to mess with him, but now, every time, they're the ones who get hurt instead. During class, Dominique's hair clip falls onto Kelly's desk. Absent-mindedly, Kelly chews a piece of it and suddenly discovers another shocking side effect. If he eats something that belongs to a person, he can control their thoughts. That night, there's a school party. Nelson corners Dominique and harasses her. She clearly wants nothing to do with him. Seeing this, Kelly grows angry and confronts him. Just as things are about to get violent, Mr. Whitescomb steps in and separates them. Although he doesn't like Kelly, he's suspicious and wants to understand what strange changes have come over him. When the party ends, Brad, Nelson, and their friends chase Kelly as he rides his bike home. They tail him, shouting and mocking, but Kelly doesn't seem bothered and keeps going. Suddenly, Brad rams him with the car. The vehicle slams into Kelly's head, but instead of Kelly being hurt, Brad's face is crushed from the impact. Brad dies instantly, while Kelly walks away completely unharmed. Panicked, Nelson calls the police. Moments later, Dominique and her friend arrive arrive on the scene. Horrified, they listen as Kelly confides everything to Dominique. She promises to keep his secret. Meanwhile, Nelson and the others lie to the police, claiming Kelly swerved his bike in front of Brad, causing the accident, but Sheriff Adler doesn't buy their story. Sensing the lies, he decides to let Kelly go free. The next morning, Red Elk learns that Pfluger has died. He visits the grave and, upon examining the disturbed soil, realizes that Pfluger lost his powers just before his death. Later, Red Elk goes to see Kelly at the diner where he works. Curious, he questions how Kelly managed to survive such a serious accident unharmed. Kelly brushes it off, saying he was just lucky. Red Elk then asks how Pfluger died. Nervous, Kelly lies, saying that Pfluger simply collapsed while trying to heal him. Kelly quickly excuses himself and leaves. Meanwhile, Nelson and the remaining bullies continue stalking Kelly. Still enraged over Brad's death, they plot revenge. That night, they drive to Kelly's house and wait outside. They plan to strike once Bernice leaves for her night shift, but as fate would have it, Bernice falls ill and decides not to go. Kelly, worried about her condition, takes her car to fetch some medicine. Seeing the car drive away, Nelson and his gang assume Bernice has left, leaving Kelly alone inside. They hook a chain to the support block under Kelly's mobile home, then pull it away with their truck. The house collapses sideways, ripping the gas line loose. Bernice is trapped inside as the leaking gas ignites. In seconds, the entire house goes up in flames. She is burned alive. Moments later, Kelly returns. He rushes into the inferno to save his mother, but it's too late. She's already dead. Kelly is rushed to the hospital, though his supernatural healing quickly restores him physically, but the emotional trauma leaves him broken. The doctor, seeing that Kelly has no injuries, wants to discharge him, but Sheriff Adler, suspicious, insists Kelly stay another night while they decide where to place him after losing his home and mother. At the same time, Red Elk arrives at the hospital and confronts Adler. He explains that the supernatural healing power from Pfluger has now transferred into Kelly. As proof, he points out how Kelly walked away unscathed from both the car accident and the fire. Adler doesn't believe a word. Red Elk warns him to call once he realizes the truth, then leaves. At Bernice's funeral, Dominique stays close to Kelly, trying to comfort him. She insists that her death isn't his fault, but Kelly, filled with guilt, says, "None of this would have happened if Pfluger's power hadn't passed into me." Crushed by grief, Kelly decides to leave town. Dominique is heartbroken by his decision and pleads with him to stay, but he walks away. After she leaves, Kelly wanders to Pfluger's grave. In despair, he eats part of the plants growing on Pfluger's grave. His body convulses with pain. From a distance, Dominique's friend Sarah spots him writhing, and terrified, she runs away. Later, Sheriff Adler approaches Kelly, offering to help him find a foster home and a new family to take him in. Adler mentions that the support block under Kelly's trailer had been moved. Realizing this, Kelly understands his mother's death wasn't an accident. Someone deliberately caused it. Meanwhile, Nelson and the bullies show no remorse. They gather by the river to hang out, laughing as if nothing happened. On the way, they spot Kelly riding with Sheriff Adler. Seizing the chance to taunt him again, enraged, Kelly leaps out of Adler's car and secretly follows them. At the river, the boys strip down and swim. Kelly hides in the trees, watching. Tucker, one of Nelson's friends, wades into the water. Kelly grabs Tucker's shirt, rips off a piece, and eats it. With his newfound ability, Kelly begins choking himself with the shirt, but the effect transfers, and Tucker thrashes in the water, suffocating. Nelson and the others panic, screaming and trying to save him, but it's too late. Kelly steps out from the shadows and reveals himself. His eyes burn with fury as he says, "I killed your friend, who's next?" Terrified, Reed bolts in fear, running until he stumbles into Sheriff Adler. Seeing Adler, Kelly retreats and vanishes into the trees. The shaken bullies tell Adler that Kelly murdered Tucker, but Adler doesn't believe their story. Instead, he suspects that they were the ones responsible for Tucker's death. That night, Sarah talks to Dominique. She tells her about Tucker's death and admits she suspects Kelly was behind it. Dominique defends Kelly. Suddenly, there's a knock at Dominique's bedroom window. It's Kelly. He urges her to come outside so they can talk. He confesses everything, including that he killed Tucker. Kelly explains that he wants revenge on Nelson and the others because they're the ones who murdered his mother. Dominique, shocked, suggests a different plan. Instead of killing them, they should make Nelson confess. Kelly reluctantly agrees. The next day, in chemistry class, Kelly provokes Tony, another one of Nelson's friends, trying to push him into admitting what they did to his mother. Nelson steps in, trying to calm Tony down, but when Kelly mocks Sarah, Tony snaps. Furious, he throws chemicals at Kelly's face. The reaction backfires. Tony's own face is horrifically burned. He collapses to the floor, screaming in agony, and dies in front of the whole class. Sarah, devastated by Tony's death, lashes out and punches Kelly in the stomach, but she's the one who doubles over in pain. Dominique watches, horrified. Moments later, Sheriff Adler rushes in. Kelly flees the school, while Adler orders all classes canceled until Kelly is caught. That night, Sarah secretly meets Nelson. She agrees to help him take revenge for Tony. She also tells him about the strange plants she saw Kelly eat at Pfluger's grave, the only thing that seemed to weaken him. Nelson realizes this could be the key. Together, he and Sarah return to the cemetery and collect some of the plants. Nelson takes them home and places them in his bathtub. The next day, Adler meets again with Red Elk. Adler is finally convinced. The two begin preparing a ritual at Pfluger's grave to undo the curse. Meanwhile, Mr. Whitescomb takes Nelson and Reed to football practice, with Adler watching nearby to keep them safe from Kelly. There, in Nelson's truck lies a heavy chain, still attached to a chunk of the concrete block that once held Kelly's trailer in place. Adler confronts Nelson and Reed, but they flatly deny everything, pretending to know nothing about the trailer sabotage. Kelly then shows up holding a power drill. He rips a piece from Nelson's clothes and threatens him, demanding he confess to killing his mother. But Nelson was ready for this. He pulls out a tube filled with water from the cemetery plants. Adler begs Kelly not to do anything rash, but Kelly drives the drill straight into his own leg. As a result, Nelson is the one who suffers, screaming in agony. Kelly refuses to stop until Nelson confesses. Dominique sees what's happening and rushes in, trying to stop Kelly. He finally halts his actions, but Nelson seizes the chance and attacks him with the cemetery water. Kelly collapses to the ground. Whitcomb steals Adler's gun and fires a shot at Kelly's head, but he doesn't realize Nelson will be the one caught instead, killing him instantly, and Whitcomb dies as well. Dominique blames Kelly for everything that happened. She tells him, "I love the old Kelly, not the one who turned into a criminal because of his powers." She convinces him to give them up. Kelly breaks down in tears, listens to her, and even considers ending his own life, but Adler calms him down, promising to rid him of the curse. Adler takes Kelly and Dominique to the cemetery, where Red Elk performs the ritual. But once it's done, Red Elk reveals the truth. The power has already become a part of Kelly, and the only way to remove it is for him to die. The power will immediately pass on to Red Elk. The police arrive to arrest Kelly. He runs with Dominique, but they are both shot and collapse inside the cemetery. Dominique lies dying, and when Kelly sees the only woman he ever loved slipping away, he can't bear it. He consumes Pfluger's corpse, determined to end his powers once and for all. Both Kelly and Dominique are rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. On the way, Dominique suddenly wakes up, completely unharmed, with no trace of the gunshot wounds. It becomes clear, Kelly's powers have now been transferred to Dominique, since Kelly is dead. And with that, we reach the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next recaps. Bye.